Hello, I am Janina Rosario from the Florida Small Business Development Center at USF, and you're watching Tampa Bay Community Network.
Hi, I'm Bill Hodges, and this is Spotlight on Government. And I have Janita Rosario on with me, who is the Associate Director of the Florida SBDC at USF. Janita, what are these letters?
Well, thank you for having me, Bill. The Florida SBDC, Small Business Development Center, is part of a nationwide network of centers that was developed 40 years ago, and is partially funded by the SBA across the United States. We're part of the America's SBDCs. And our whole mission is to help businesses grow and succeed. So we provide them with technical assistance or business assistance. We work with entrepreneurs in different areas or industries, from those that are interested in starting a business because they have a particular skill set or a particular experience and they would like to now explore being on their own, to folks that are in their second or perhaps even third generation business ownership and are looking at bringing change or evaluating what has happened and where do they go next. So we are very lucky to work with all sorts of entrepreneurs in our area. Here in Florida, we are part of the Florida's network, SBDC network, and through that we have 10 regions that we cover the whole state. In our region here in Tampa Bay, we actually cover 10 counties. So
wow.
we stay quite busy, as
How
you can
big a
imagine.
staff do you have?
Right now, our staff is close to 35 or so, and our region includes Hernando to the north, Pasco, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Polk, Manatee, Sarasota, Highlands, Desert, and Hardee counties. So as you can imagine, it's quite diverse.
But you're
geographically
located here
speaking.
in Tampa.
Our regional office is in Tampa, in the Channel Side District at the Port Tampa Bay building.
Oh, okay, in the Tampa Bay Port Building.
Yes.
Just north of the aquarium.
That's correct.
If I were coming to you as a person that has an idea for a business,
Yes.
I'm a good cook, and I do a pretty decent job at that. That's why I picked it. But I thought, well, maybe I'd like to open a restaurant. Other than being a good cook, having a pocket full of recipes, maybe even knowing where to go buy some stuff, and I come to you, how do we start? Where do we go from there?
All right. So there will be a couple of questions asked of you regarding your experience,
Okay.
prior experience. Number one, in business ownership. Number two, in the industry.
Okay, I never owned a business.
And never worked in a restaurant.
And, well, I washed dishes, but I watched them cook, and I could do better.
Okay. There might be some transferable skills there. We would have to explore
You still
further.
have to have dishes washed up.
Exactly. So there might be a couple of ways to get you started. Probably the first step would be to advise you of upcoming training, by which we help entrepreneurs in similar situations where they have an idea and they just need to know what is my next step, my next 5 steps in order to develop my business. So we share the information in a group setting, because that foundation for the business, it doesn't matter what kind of business it is the same foundation for everybody. You need to be able to have clear understanding of your legal formation, clear understanding of your tax regulations and responsibilities. You need to understand about budgeting and managing a budget and developing a cash flow. And you need to understand your market. Where is it? Why they need you? What kind of need are you satisfying, in this case with your restaurant and your fabulous recipes? And where would you establish that restaurant? Is it in this corner or on that street?
Really good building over in this particular section of town, and the rent's really cheap.
Why?
Oh.
Why is it so cheap?
I don't know.
Was there a restaurant there before?
I don't think so.
Are there other restaurants close by?
Yep.
And how are they doing?
I don't eat in them, so I really don't know.
So you don't
So
eat.
these are all the things you need to know, right?
Exactly, exactly. And if you yourself don't eat in that area, why would people come to you?
Well,
If you are not extremely familiar with the
I'm
area,
really good.
you need more than that. So part of the conversation would be understanding that market and understanding how to perform some market research to help you better gauge the probability of success for your business. And of course, a business plan is always so important.
A business plan?
Yes, and I'm not talking about a 50-page document. I'm talking about a document that has your ideas, that forces you to transfer your ideas from your head to that document. Because in that process, you may discover a thing or two about the idea itself, that you really love it and you're ready to move forward, that you really love it, but you don't like the process that you have to do after the plan is done. Or, you know what, that restaurant idea, leave it to somebody else. They can do it. I'll just go eat and I don't have to worry about the employees and opening and closing and paying the insurance and paying salaries and keeping track of
All I want to do is cook.
But you have to do everything else that comes with the business.
I think turning a dream into reality is part of what you do, correct?
Correct, correct.
And there's sometimes when you have to tell people, it's a dream.
Well, we help you come to your own conclusions. We cannot tell you if it is a dream or not. We will highlight potential challenges, potential hurdles. If it is something that you can overcome, we will help you identify how. If it is additional resources that you need, if it is additional information that you need, if it is additional experience that you need, we will highlight that for you. But at the end, it's your decision, because it is your passion. It is what is keeping you awake at night. It is what is giving you that sense of, oh, I want to explore this. So we cannot tell you yay or nay. That's up to you. We'll tell you how to plan and what may lie ahead. Final decision is yours.
So there's no financial assistance from your organization?
It depends how you want to look at it.
Because that would be a yay or nay.
We are not a lender.
Okay.
We're not a lending institution. However, we do not charge for our consulting services either.
Boy, that's really a value.
Yes, so you come to the SBDC as many times as you want for consulting, and there will never be a fee associated with that. Our training, it does have a small fee, but at $10 and $25, it's not a whole lot. But the consulting is always provided at no cost, and it's very important that I share with you and the audience that all of our consulting is provided, is strictly confidential between you and the SBDC consultant.
So if I come to your organization, you'll run me through a battery, as you will, sort of like we did just now?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Going over to get the overall picture.
Correct.
And then at that point, I say, well, yeah, I'd like to follow up on this. What do you think?
Well,
And then you're going to give me, you need to be stronger here, you need to have this information. Is that the way it would work?
we'll give you homework.
Okay.
Okay, so you have something to work with. You have some parameters or a better idea of what you need to do next. And we will be with you all the way through. As long as you want to continue to work with us, we'll be happy to work with you as well. Today I had the opportunity to be in a similar situation where somebody has over 20 years of experience in their field of work.
They're going to open a restaurant too?
Not a restaurant, so you don't have direct competition yet. But they would like to turn their experience and an idea that they have been working with for so many years into reality. And here's the goal. This is where they are. So now our job is to help them develop that path that will lead to
Okay.
achieving that goal if that is what they ultimately
Get them
ultimately
through the
want
forest
to do.
without them being eaten by the lions.
Exactly. We'll try to keep the lions at bay. So the person came in and they were provided with information. We asked a lot of questions, obviously, to get a very good understanding of their idea, what they have. Immediately identified some quite important challenges on their way, not impossible to overcome, but certainly that need a lot of time and thought on their part, and provided them with some homework, and we should be seeing them in a few weeks for part number 2.
I'd like to talk about some of the classes you offer.
Certainly.
But before I do that, I would like to see, in your experience and the people you have in your staff, what is the greatest deficit that most people have when they come to you? Besides money, which I assume in most instances is a problem.
It is, and with money, I would say is how many are financially illiterate, and it's from a fear rather than anything else. That I have to do accounting? What? Not everybody loves accounting. Some people were born to love accounting, other people are not.
That's one great understatement.
And we see it every day. So it's about being able to work with that budget, because if it takes money to make money, I think we have heard that before. And if you don't have all of the resources, money being one of them, in place to build that foundation and from there develop your business, the process can be more difficult than it needs to.
I would think so.
Yeah. So it's not a lack of passion. It's not a lack of vision. It's usually resources, and the primary resources, shortage of resources for many is money.
What would be the other, besides money, what would you see as the greatest challenge for most people walking through your doors?
Eventually is developing the business to where it actually runs by itself without depending on the business owner. So a question would be,
Golly, does that ever happen?
well, yeah.
Really?
Yes. Oh, yes. So is it that you want to develop that restaurant because you want to cook and bring home a good paycheck? Or is it that you want to build a restaurant that you will eventually leave for somebody else, a child or a good family member, or sell it?
Oh, okay.
Okay. So whichever your ultimate goal is, it's going to require a very definite, particular strategy to develop that business in that manner.
So you have to be able to clone yourself.
And have you figured out that business yet?
No, I've had my own business for 30-some years, and I am it.
Yeah. So those are important conversations to be had. And I know at the beginning it's more about that dream and bringing that dream to reality. But we also need to think about the last chapter of that book called My Business. So what is that chapter going to look like? I sell the business, I close the business, I leave the business for somebody else, I gift it.
Where were you 40 years ago when I started my business?
Not here.
As I look back, there were many things I could have done.
Yeah.
Taking the training courses I developed and syndicating them, a lot of different things, but I didn't.
Yeah. Well, the SBDC was just getting started. And California and Florida were some of the first states to adapt the model. They were not widely available as we are today. So I guess our timing was not quite perfect there.
Tell me, what kind of classes would you offer to someone walking through your door?
Well, we have a number of classes, and all of our consultants are
the
the most
teachers
part,
on staff?
Yes, they are our consultants, and we teach to the areas in which we then consult. So we have the Starting Your Business class, which any of us can actually teach. We have Financing Your Business, Business
Let's talk
Planning.
about the Starting Your Business class.
Certainly.
How long is it?
It's a 2.5-hour class.
Just 2.5 hours?
Yes,
Okay.
so it's a very small engagement on your part, if you will,
Okay.
from a time perspective. It's 2.5. It is full of information, from legal formation to tax commitments, without going into tax law or
Right.
tax requirements.
Getting a tax number. or whatever.
Correct. A little bit about market, and then a little bit about marketing, the importance of developing that business plan, and also highlighting some of the different agencies that you may come into contact depending on the industry. And certainly food-related businesses are the ones that have the most friends from an agency perspective out there. That's to put it in a, give it a good light.
Are any of these online, or do they have to come in to take the class?
Right now, for us, they are all live. So they are provided at our center in Tampa. And some subjects are presented monthly, others are presented every other month. And every other month, what we do is that we have the Starting Your Business series. And what we have done is we identified the main subjects that somebody that is in that first step in developing their business should have. What is that minimum that they should have? So through that series, they get the Starting Your Business Financing class, the Business Planning, Accounting 101, and Bookkeeping as well. And did I say marketing? They also get the marketing class. So with that, the person at the end of the 6 classes, which we usually do twice a week, so it's 3 weeks intense. All of these classes are anywhere between 2 and 3 hours long. By the end, they now have the foundation, the information they need to start building the foundation for their business.
Sounds like a very valuable process, and there's a minimal charge for these classes?
Correct.
We're talking $10, $15, $25?
For the most part, they're anywhere between 10 and 25. The most expensive class we currently have on its own is the business plan class, because it also brings, it includes software.
Oh, okay.
So that makes the class a little bit more expensive. But if somebody takes the series as a bulk, they actually either get 2 free classes, if you will.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's $170 for the 6 classes, but basically if they were to do it a la carte, they would pay much more than that.
How long are the classes?
They are anywhere between 2 and 3 hours long, and they're one-time
Now,
classes.
are they offered in the evenings, or is it on the weekends, or
Evenings,
evenings?
yes.
So a working person could avail themselves of it.
That's why we do it.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yes. So we also have other classes that we do teach during the daytime. So this would be more for that established business that can actually send a representative, or the business owner can actually leave the staff at work and come in and take the
Brush up the
information.
skills.
Correct.
In the time we have left, what do you think are the most important things that maybe we haven't already discussed that you think people should know about your organization?
Well, there is something that we haven't discussed yet, and it is for that business that is already up and running, that perhaps class is no longer what they need from the get-go, but more in-depth engagement from our part with them and their business. And we have a couple of products, if you will, that we offer. We have a business assessment, as well as a growth acceleration report, and an export marketing plan report. And these are very different reports that we will give a small business depending on the need that they have. So let me start with the export marketing plan. That is for a business that is new to export, or is doing very little export and it wants to increase and grow that way through international markets. This has been a wonderful partnership between us and Enterprise Florida, and the value of that report is $4,000.
Wow.
Enterprise Florida, if you qualify, will pay $3,500. So the only out-of-pocket for the small business is $500. It is a report that has been taken out there to the marketplace, has been vetted by other organizations, and it actually has a street value closer to $10,000.
Wow.
And you get it for $500 because of our affiliate, our
And
partnership
when
with
I got
Enterprise
that,
Florida.
it will help me to understand what?
It will help you understand how your product or service is can be exported, and which ones, which are your top markets to export. Because it's not to say, oh, for example, Canada is just north of us, therefore it should be my market. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so
So these are for a hard good supplier to sell goods somewhere that they can package up and ship somewhere else.
or services.
Or services.
Or
too.
services, yes. So all they have to do is, if the small business is interested, they can visit our website and read a little bit more about that program,
Okay.
About that service. And again, it's through a partnership with Enterprise Florida.
Okay.
And it's keeping us quite busy throughout the region and the whole state, because this is
I would think
statewide.
with the Panama Canal opening up wider and changes in port, our port director here has done a fine job. I'm really delighted at what I'm seeing there.
Yeah. Now, a lot of things, we have quite an active international trade community. We just don't talk about it as much as we should.
Not as much as we ought to.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So that is one. The other one is the Growth Acceleration Service, and this is for a business that has been in business for at least 3 years, has 5 or more employees, has a sales at least of $500,000 up to $20 million. And the reason why is because we use the SBA's, the Small Business Administration's definition of small business.
Okay.
And many, the cap is 20 million. And most importantly, this small business applying for the Growth Acceleration Service, they have to have a desire to grow. This is not a turnaround service. Is I have hit a ceiling and I know I can get here. How do I break through? How do I get there? And it is a very deep engagement with the client, similar to the export marketing plan, where we're going to be spending anywhere between 80 and 100 hours with that business, not in their place of business, but we're going to do a very detailed survey and questionnaire with them. We're going to take a tour of their facilities. We're going to collect information from them, and from there we're going to start doing research. We're going to compare benchmarks of where they are and how they compare with their peers in their industry. Are they above, on par? Are they below? If they're below, what do they need to do to get on par? If they're above, what is it that they're doing that is working so that they can continue to do that? And if they're on par, then what do they need to do to, get above?
I like the emphasis on what are they doing right.
Oh, yes.
And do more of it.
Correct. Correct.
So many times people look at what you've done wrong. You concentrate on that. I think Nolan Ryan, good example. They said he didn't have a carve ball. Great pitcher, fastest fastball. So he took the whole winter and worked on a curveball. The next year he had the worst year in his history. He had forgotten to work on that, which he did well.
And
the
it is so
fastball.
important. It is so important that you sharpen your skills, the skills that are working, and add new skill sets at the same time.
What's the cost for that report?
That one is no cost,
What?
at no cost.
All those hours for free? I can't imagine any company not wanting to be in there.
And we love doing those. Again, that's why there's a criteria, because obviously we have to.
So give the
to
criteria
manage.
again for that. Who would be eligible to get this kind of report?
So this is for the Growth Acceleration.
Okay.
And it is 3 years in business,
3 years.
5 or more employees.
5 or more. That include the person who runs the company?
The owner. Oh, the sales, $500,000 up to $20 million.
Okay.
Yes. So if somebody is short of the sales or the number of employees, then we do the business assessment for them. But they still need the 3 years. And here's the reason why we need 3 years worth of financial information, because we're going to take that information and we're going to do an analysis. We're looking for areas for higher efficiency. Are they leaving money on the table? Are they losing money because they're not doing something else? Okay, so the more money we can find them within the business, the better they're going to be,
I'm
the
with
happier
you.
they're going to be.
You want to come and check out my accounts?
So we're going to be spending a lot of time doing that because, again, once we have that, which is fundamental as part of the foundation of their business, then they can build all sorts of strategies to grow their business.
And you do that all for free?
At no cost.
At no charge?
Yes.
And they don't have to follow your recommendations when it's over, correct? Nobody's going to come back and say,
No,
okay.
we would like to.
Yeah, it
But
would
it's
make
up to
not
the-
sense, but it's not a requirement.
No.
You're
Again,
not
it's
going in there telling them what they have to do, but suggesting what they can do, correct?
correct. So there's going to be a list of recommendations. And during our presentation, because it is an actual report that we give back to the client. Hopefully it's not for it to go on the shelf, but to be an active document that is taken into consideration and looked at on a regular
Do
basis.
you have anyone that follows up with them?
The consultant that engages with that small business will follow up. So
Because
that
sometimes a person can get
entrepreneur,
overwhelmed. I mean, they're really good at
Correct.
whatever they do, but they're not good at a lot of these other things.
Correct.
Accounting especially.
yes. So there will be areas in which we can continue to work with the individual, with the business owner, and there will be other areas in which we may not. So, and we will highlight that. You need to find, that accountant, or you need to find the attorney, the professional that can help with that specific area. If it is something that we can continue to work with, we will be happy to do so.
And that is so important. I think everybody, if you're going to be in small business, and I have been for 40 years, what you need to do is not use your time that you can do something really well at, doing that which you don't do well. Find an attorney, find an accountant that's going to work with you, and don't just take the first one. Sit down and interview them, just like you would an employee, right?
Oh, it's so important because the accountant, the attorney, your bank representative, your insurance
Got to
person.
get them all.
This is your dream team.
Well,
just like
Janita
employees
Rosario,
may
I'm
not.
going to keep you on our dream team.
All right,
We really
appreciate
appreciate
that.
your coming in here. Janita Rosario, she is the Assistant Director of the Small Business Development Center here in Tampa. And the numbers have been on the screen. You're unique, you're special, and you're great. Tell yourself so often because you are, and we really appreciate your coming in.
I appreciate
and
the
you'll come
opportunity.
back, right?
Will do.
All right.